Hey everyone, welcome back to another Godzilla battling video, and today I have for you a deck building guide on Mechagodzilla 1974 as a leader. This is not including him, tossed around in your deck as a unit. I wanted to talk about him as a leader. I know a lot of people, whenever a new leader comes out, they want to know what decks work best with those characters, and we've been pretty fortunate that the last two leader characters we've gotten added to Battleline have been relatively plug and play. Kamen Rider can be used in any deck with any character, and the same goes for Mechagodzilla 74. There are characters that work, I think, better with him than most, and we'll go over them. I have them all listed up here, and I'll give my reasons why I think they're pretty good. And just to keep in mind, for those of you who maybe haven't seen one of these kinds of videos, we got a lot of new people on this channel, right? We're almost at 4,000 subscribers, so if you haven't joined yet, join up. I'd really appreciate it. But what we're doing here, I'm giving you, obviously Mechagodzilla's a leader. I'm giving you 3 characters that I think benefit kind of the most from him as a leader, but not necessarily meaning you have to have them on your team. Just 3 characters that I think are probably better off on your team, and then a whole slew of characters that I think you can put, on that team as well to facilitate a really good deck, right? So I'm not like, oh, I got something in my eye. I'm not telling you like use this deck now, 100% win rate. I'm telling you this is the leader, this is what he does. These are the characters that I think work best with this ability, and have fun. Because full disclosure, Mechagodzilla 74 can be used in any kind of deck. You want to run Bomb Squad, but have him in your deck, make him your leader. You want to run 5-cost flyers, make him the leader. You want to do a stun deck, make him the leader. Doesn't matter. His ability will help all characters in this game. All of them. Okay? These are just some of the ones that I think work maybe a little bit better than the rest. So, we'll recap Mechagodzilla's leader ability for those of you who don't know. It's called Defense Neo Barrier. Costs 2 energy. Cooldown is 120 seconds, which is faster than Kamen Rider's leader ability by about 30 seconds. Restores HP of allied units and facilities in a circular area around self by 6% of maximum HP every second for 5 seconds, and reduces damage taken by allied units and facilities in a circular area around self to 80% for 30 seconds. Now that is big. It does not take very many seconds, alright? It doesn't take a lot of time to move across the field. So proccing this and then having your units go into enemy territory, that's big. So we'll talk about some of the characters that I think benefit the most from this. And first I have Space Godzilla. I don't have these guys in any particular order, just the way I have them organized in my deck. Space Godzilla I have up here for 2 reasons. One, he has okay damage and not like a crazy amount of health, but this defense up on him, 80% defense up, makes him extremely deadly. Okay, it makes him way harder to kill. And he has the crystals that give an attack boost. So Mechagodzilla will apply a defense boost, and Space Godzilla will apply the attack boost. Likewise, if the crystals are close enough to Mechagodzilla as a leader, guess what? The crystals count as a facility. Or they count as a unit. I think they count as a facility. But they get healed from Mechagodzilla's leader ability. Now that might not seem like a big deal, okay? But the longer that those crystals are alive, okay, the more of a body block chance that they have for your leader. If you're in like a close team fight and the enemy's coming in, there's a bunch of single target attackers, and you have these crystals around your leader, and you keep them alive a little bit longer. I'm not saying these are going to last like 2 hits now, but they're definitely like going to be around longer. They only last for like what, like 10 seconds or something like that, 9 seconds or something like that. So making sure that these are on the field for longer than that gives you just a really solid buffer between your leader and the enemy, which is always a good thing, okay? So you can get the defense boost and the attack boost with Space Godzilla, plus you get some extra time to abuse the crystals as a defensive measure, which I really like. Earth. Godzilla Earth, I think, is probably the character that benefits the most from this. He is already a pain in the ass to take down. A high-level Earth is extremely deadly to pretty much anyone that comes across him, right? So having Earth with an 80% damage boost, or I'm sorry, 80% health boost is ridiculous. So being able to get that defense up makes him an insanely difficult character to deal with. I don't even know how I can emphasize to you how much of a pain in the ass it is to have him to go up against an Earth, I should say, with that boost. And then not only does he have the boost, it heals him 6% of his maximum HP every second for 5 seconds on Earth is an absurd amount of health, right? Earth has the most health in the game, period. Okay? 6% of that coming back to him every second is wicked. Okay? Earth is slow, so he might not get the biggest boost from all of this, right? In terms of like, oh, you know, he has that defense boost, but by the time he gets halfway across the field, maybe it'll go away. Okay? When the enemy's right up on you and you have an Earth and you really don't have enough time to deploy another unit, say you have like, you know, a 6 cost, a 5 cost, whatever, you don't really have a lot of time to deploy, pop the ability, give him the boost, give yourself the health, because this leader ability heals the leader as well, which is crazy. So give the defense boost to yourself and Earth, give the health boost, keep him up. He's an amazing tank, and this is going to keep him alive for way longer. Next is Mechagodzilla, and this is more of a defensive thing, but I've had them walk out into the middle of the field with the buff and just eat shots. Mine is level 40. Okay, I throw this defense boost, at 80% defense boost on the Mechagodzilla, and that's an extra shot that they can take. Already, the Mechagodzilla are probably one of the best units in the game, purely because of the cost to like damage mitigation that they have, right? So it's 2 cost, you get 3 Mechagodzilla that on average are taking 1 or 2 hits per match from your enemies. So that's what, at a maximum of 6 shots. This is going to make it so you can take 9 with them. It is phenomenal evaluation, okay? It's like peanut butter and jelly. And I'm not saying, you know, put them down, then drop the boost, and then let them go out on attack. I'm saying, like, your enemy is going to drop a Kiryu on you, right? You see the Kiryu, you see the Mogera, you drop the Mechagodzilla, and then you drop this buff on them, you heal them. You let them take more damage. They have a health boost. They have the defense boost. It's really, really good on defense. It's gotten me out of a few pinches, and it's even funny to see them like in the midfield with this boost on them and like tank a ton of hits. Because I've had my Mechagodzilla with the defense boost go toe to toe with Biolantes with the water boost. Okay, so it is kind of insane, and I really do like them on defense with this boost. Most of the options I picked for like these 3, like Earth, Mechagodzilla and Space Godzilla, are extremely defensive, but that's because, you know, remember this leader ability isn't hitting the whole field. If this ability could hit the whole field, we would have a lot more offensive characters on this list. But these top 3 are pretty defensive because they can stick close to Mechagodzilla leader and get this buff, right? And get these boosts. They're not going to get them if they're out of range, so they have to be kind of close. I'm not saying you have to use this ability purely defensively. Obviously, you can use this extremely offensively. I just have these 3 listed for defensive purposes, because that's how I like to play Mechagodzilla leader, at least, is a little bit more defensively if I can. Next are the suggested units I have down below. I have a few of them. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on each and every one, but if I ramble like I normally do, it is what it is. So, first things first, I want to get it out of the way, is Zeton. Zeton is not a insanely valuable member of the game at the moment. I think most people forget that Zeton is even in the game. However, Zeton has a ridiculously large hitbox. He basically is like a taunting totem. You can put him in front of your leader, and he has basically Earth's-sized hitbox, where characters will lock onto him from far away, and he will just eat shots. And then he's a nice explosion at the end. He can sit close enough to Mechagodzilla leader, where he can get the buff, he can get the damage boost, he can get the health boost, and he's just going to eat shots for your leader, which is good. So, Zeton is on here purely in a defensive manner. I don't think he's the most valuable player on this list, but he's certainly not a bad option to give an 80% defense boost to, alright? Next is Anguirus. Anguirus is like Godzilla Earth Light, and I even can skip ahead to G89 on here too, and G89 and Anguirus are like Earth Light. If your Earth isn't extremely big, like mine is level 20, which isn't like ginormous, but it's bigger than most players. My girth is ginormous, let me tell you. Anguirus and G89 will do the trick. They have extremely large health pools. They benefit a lot from the health regen on here, and the Anguirus and G89 with the 80% boost is insane. So you thought Earth was hard to get through? Earth attacks every 5 seconds. Wait until G89 is on your ass with the 80% damage boost and he's healing. Then we'll talk, alright? That's pretty big. So that's hard to deal with. I get the 4th Angel and I got Burning Godzilla on here because they're just staple meta units at this point, the 2 of them. The longer that Burning Godzilla has the defense boost up, the harder he's going to be to kill, which means the more his bar charges. And for the 4th Angel, he has the defense boost and the health boost up. It means the longer he's alive, the more damage he can deal with his attack, because he attacks every, like, what is it, like 3 seconds, 3.2 seconds, something like that, and it's slow, but it is extremely strong. So we're not keeping him alive to boost his explosion. We're keeping Burning Godzilla alive to boost that explosion. But we're keeping Fourth Angel alive to just deal damage before he dies, because he deals a ton of damage. I think a lot of people sleep on the fact that he even does damage, and a lot of people just want him because he explodes. But I promise you, Fourth Angel packs a absolute wallop. So keeping him alive for that is good, and burning to help him charge up his explosion is also really, really good. Now, Destroy is on here. Destroy is like a sleeper agent these days. Destroy is pretty good as a unit now. He's not pretty good. He's all right. If you have a high enough level on him, he can be really good. But he's basically a stat stick. He has a pretty good health pool. He has an okay damage pool. It's just getting him to evolve is the trick. So once you have your Destroy all the way evolved, if you pop this on him, like I said, it's making him harder to kill. And I'm going to sound like a broken record this whole video saying, like, it just makes this character harder to kill. It just makes this character harder to kill. But, like, that is the point of the Mechagodzilla ability, is to make your characters harder to kill. Like, with, Biollante. Biollante will increase speed of characters who are walking in water, and it will increase the damage a little bit for ranged units. So this encourages you to get ranged units on your team and send them up through the water, right, and do a push like that. G89's ability is to give your team more damage, to make them, you know, your team kill faster. So you generally want characters that hit really hard, and you boost them with this. The whole point of Mechagodzilla 74's kit as a leader is to survive. It is to make your characters to survive. All the characters on this list that I have, except for like Gigan and Kumo Augment, have stupid high health pools. I guess Kamacuras, for the cost of Kamacuras, also has very high health pool. But the point is to keep your units alive for longer. So units with higher health will heal more from the percent heal, and it will be harder to kill because of the 80% damage reduction coming their way. We all see how hard it is to sometimes kill the Ava Unit 0 when she's in the running state, and with the bomb, she has a 70% boost. Okay, this is an 80% boost, so I don't want to keep saying like, oh, it makes it harder to kill, makes it harder to kill. You should use this because it makes it harder to kill. That's the point. Like, that is the point. That is the whole reason you use this ability, is to make like a wall. You want on defense to heal yourself and make sure that your characters on defense survive long enough to help you get the upper hand. And when you're making an offensive push, you throw this down to make sure your characters take as little damage as possible so they can deal as much damage as they possibly can. Because their damage isn't increasing, but the longer they're alive, it means the more attacks they can get off, which means the more enemies you can kill, okay? That is the whole gist of it. There we go. What else have I got on here for you? Gigan. I love Gigan 04. He's great. He's really great on his own. Obviously, 80%. I don't even care about the health boost on Gigan or Kumo, I should say, because their health is so low that the heal is like all right. I mean, I'm not like crazy about the heal. Your enemies are going to damage through it. It's not a big deal. But Gigan 04 has, what, a 1.4 second attack. He already is ripping characters up, and like we just discussed, you want characters to be alive, to deal as much damage as possible. There's not a lot of characters with better DPS than Gigan 04, okay? He is really good. Biollante and Jet Jaguar 73, oh my god. Biollante in the water and Jet Jaguar singular point are pretty good for DPS as well. But Gigan also has that stun, so we love that stun. I mean, Biollante could have gone on this list too for the same reason. Biollante with the boost is really hard to kill. But keeping Gigan alive, that stun is great. You're going to get a bunch of free hits, and then by the time that stun is up, and he's got that debuff, this is phenomenal. He's just ripping them apart. It makes him incredibly difficult to deal with. It almost makes me feel like he is like a miniature version of Unit 0, because they have not similar stats, but Unit 0 doesn't have like the most health outside of the damage negation, and the same goes for Gigan 04. I can even say the same for Kumo Augment. Kumo Augment has definitely fallen off recently, but the damage boost is going to keep him alive, and he's going to be able to do what he's there to do, and is just absolutely disrupt your opponent's push. So I like this on him as well. Not a lot of people are running him. Not a lot of people have him at a higher level. I give it a month and a half. We'll see Kumo again, but he's not going to be nearly as impressive. But with this leader ability, it actually might be. I got Mothra Leo. And I got G89 on this list, kind of for the same reason as well. They both hit like a truck. I mean, Leo obviously is a meta unit. In both the games you see on the screen, there's Leos on both teams, right? So Leo is great just all around. I don't really have to discuss too much about Leo and, you know, giving him that boost. But Godzilla, oh my god, what's his name? Final Wars. He, I think, benefits a lot from the defense boost because of two things. If an enemy is close enough to him, he will hit them with his tail swipe and push them away. And then he uses his beam attack on them and they get too close, he'll push them away. But sometimes he'll push an enemy away and he'll be out of attack range, but the enemy won't be, and the enemy can get a free hit on him. So Mechagodzilla's ability will help you at least negate the damage from those free hits. Because there's nothing you hate to see more than, you know, your favorite character, maybe if it's Final Wars, getting absolutely ripped up because of just maybe bad placement or bad attack timing or what have you. Throw this buff down on him, make sure he gets those heals, make sure he gets that defense up, and you're going to at least mitigate some of the damage that he would be taking when he's not allowed to hit. I mean, technically, you can see the same for Jet Jaguar, 73, 74, whatever year that fucking Jet Jaguar is, the best Jet Jaguar in the game, with his karate chops. And if you drop this on and he can negate that damage, because he's going to push characters away and he's going to be out of range, but he's going to be within their range, and this is at least going to help him survive that like middle ground where he's working his way back to them. Final War, same thing. The damage negation is going to help him work his way towards the other characters. Finally, on here, I have really sneakily hidden the energy base. Now, I am not an energy base user by nature, and I generally don't recommend using energy base because of how many trains are around, and it's just like, I see the energy base, and I know you're down a slot on your team, and if I can just put the pressure on you, you're really going to have to play insanely hard defense, right? That being said, if your opponent's not running trains, and you're running the ERB with Mechagodzilla, put the energy base, just like on the right side screen, put the energy base with him, like touching him, because you can use your ability to regenerate the time on the energy base. The blue bar on the energy base does not just count as the timer, it counts as the health of the base. The same applies to the other two facilities, the chopper base and the M-Blob base, but I'm not including them there because they're not as good as the energy base. So maybe, you know, you pop 2 energy for the Mechagodzilla ability. Maybe your energy base, I don't know what it gives you back exactly. It depends on when you use it, but maybe it's close to death. I pop this ability down and I get, what, an extra 2 or 3 energy from the life that's received back. So I generally don't upgrade the energy base because it has low health. But if you plan on using Mechagodzilla as your leader, you might want to consider investing in the energy base because the more health it has, the more percent health it will gain back when you use the ability on it, which means the more energy you have a chance to earn back. The longer the energy base is alive, the more energy you can gain back. That's huge, okay? So, this is a long video. I did not mean for it to be this long, but those are my recommendations for all of the characters that I think work best with this ability. Obviously, you can use whoever you want. There's a ton of really good options. Fire-Edan, I'm using him on the screen because with the 80% boost and the health boost, and then, you know, Fire-Edan dies and gives even more health. You can use Psychic Chorus and just dump even more health. You do, I mean, you can't do Mothra leader because you need Mechagodzilla leader for this, but you get what I'm saying. Dumping heals on the ground is also really good paired with this ability, because I'm pretty sure it stacks. Yeah, percent heal and static heal do not stack, so you can Psychic Chorus or Fire-Edan this ability, and you're going to get way more health back, which is great. So, that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching. I didn't mean for this to be so long, so I apologize about that, but if you made it all to the end, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.